Turning Red is the cringiest movie I've seen in a while, but it is completely self-aware. It's not like The Office, it's more like, yeah, we're all cringe when we're 13, so let's just embrace it, and I really like that. For those of you who haven't seen the movie, spoilers, I'm going to describe the plot of the movie now. Turning Red is a cute movie about a 13-year-old girl named May who inherited the power to turn into a giant red panda when she gets emotional. All the women on her mother's side have this ability. There's a ritual that her family wants to perform on her that will seal the panda away in an item, which all of them did back when they were young, but in the meantime she must contain it as much as she can, or the ritual might not work and it won't be sealed away. Simultaneously to all that, May and her friends are into this boy band and they're coming to the city real soon. But each ticket costs $200 and there's 4 of them. And I have about a month or something to collect $800, and they quickly realize that most people love the cute, fluffy and gigantic red panda. So they use that to extort money from their school. That's a lot of money for a bunch of 13-year-olds to have. Anyway, some shenanigans happen, and it turns out the boy band comes to their town the day of the ritual, which has to take place on the day of the lunar eclipse. The 4 friends got mad with each other because they needed a reason for the 3 friends to still go to the concert even if May couldn't go. May is doing the ritual, but then she realizes she doesn't want to get rid of the panda, so she stops the ritual and goes to the concert. Her mother's thing that contained the panda broke, so she's super pissed now and is coming to the concert to get her daughter back. And May asserts herself and is like, I don't want to be your perfect daughter 24/7, let me be my own personal idol. And they fight, the mom gets knocked out, and all the women of her family break their seal and release their panda to drag the mother back in the circle to redo the ritual and seal the panda away again. But May decides she doesn't want to again, and her family is okay with this now. Okay, now let me go to the nitpicking corner for a second before I go into what I think of the movie. So, do none of the rules matter? We're told that if she uses the panda too much, she might not be able to get rid of it. It's not impossible that was kind of a nod from the writers, and just meant that she'll actually like it too much and she won't want to get rid of it, but that's not really the way they portray it. They talk about it like it's some beast she can't control that will take over, or like it's Earthsea, and if she transforms too much, she'll be stuck.
I know how hard it is to keep the beast in. It feels so good to let it out, so free. But each time you do, the stronger it gets. And then you'll be bound to it forever, and the ritual will fail.
But then when she goes through the ritual, it doesn't seem like it influenced anything really. And it's good. The fact that she chooses it instead of being forced into it is good for thematic reasons. But then the emphasis put on the danger of keeping it loose rings pretty hollow. Along with those rules is also the fact that they suggest there's only one time you can ever do the ritual, and after that it's done and impossible to do again.
You only have one chance to banish it, and you cannot fail. Otherwise, you'll never be free.
That adds tension because you know the deadline is important, and it even feels more powerful after that the family will all transform to help the mom. But after all that, you are left wondering whether they can seal the panda back again. My thoughts on the movie aren't super developed. I thought it was kind of cute. It was very cringe in a way I liked, as I said earlier. There's a lot of subtext, and for a kids movie, they don't feel the need to explicitly spell everything out. I mean, this kind of facial expression isn't really subtle. It's not really up to interpretation that she's growing irritated with her mom, but you know, kids movies will usually still spell it out anyways. Her friends aren't very developed, but they were different enough from each other to feel real, and they were funny, especially her. I really liked the subtext of the pressure her and her mother feel, and I kind of got the impression, at least until the end of the movie, that the takeaway would be, as they explicitly state, that it's okay to have an inner beast and that you shouldn't erase the part of you that's different and more outgoing, but embrace it and let yourself be who you are.
But I'm a monster.
People have all kinds of sides to them, May. And some sides are messy. The point isn't to push the bad stuff away, it's to make room for it. Live with it. May, erase it if you want, but this side of you made me laugh.
But now that's my real issue with the movie, and the point I want to highlight in this video. The movie doesn't really follow its own moral, because in the end, all the family chooses to seal the panda away again. They're not learning to live with it. Even the mom who has repressed her emotions all her life and would desperately need to embrace her unkempt side goes back into numbing that side of her. I just think the symbolism they threw in the movie worked really well up to the end, but then the metaphor gets ruined if they explicitly go against the moral of not suppressing part of you. It reminded me of the ending of Toy Story 4, where the moral is that toys shouldn't get their self-worth from being a child's friend. Gabby Gabby, the antagonist turned friend, was spending the entire movie hoping to convince the child she would make her happy. And when she failed, she got extremely sad and thought life was meaningless now. So with the whole message of finding happiness in being a lost toy and not putting your self-worth into being a kid's favorite toy, her finding a happy ending in being found by a child, the one thing we've just been told shouldn't be what you strive for, that feels really weird. Like, this one at least has the advantage of being cute, but it still contradicts the moral of the story. And I guess it wasn't explicitly stated in the movie, it was more thematic, but still. The same goes with Encanto, to some extent at least. For those of you who haven't seen it, it's a movie about a family living in a magical house. Each child of this family gets a power when they reach a certain age. However, the magic of the house is fading, and our protagonist, Mirabel, the only child that did not receive a gift, is trying to get to the bottom of this and restore the magic. Now, spoilers for the movie's theme and moral, skip to this time if you don't want to hear those. The grandmother of the family lost sight of what really mattered to the point where everyone in their family feels like they can't ever meet her expectations of them. And the point and moral of this movie is, the miracle isn't your magic, it's our family bond. We'll always be a family, and so on. There's a cathartic scene at the end where they're rebuilding the house, and the whole Encanto joins in. They explicitly say they don't have powers. And they rebuild the house entirely without magic, which makes a lot of sense thematically. But then they just ignore that and bring the magic back. Like, yeah, the magic is not antithetical to their bond, but the movie still establishes a clear parallel between the magic and why their family was so dysfunctional in the first place. So having them accept they don't need magic anymore because they have each other, and they love each other for who they are and not for their gifts. That's all pretty meaningful, and giving them the magic back definitely doesn't remove all that, but it kind of feels like a cop-out, to me at least. Though to be fair, magic is cool, so I just can't really complain that much about it. Overall, all three movies are fun, and besides the fact they're made by Disney, there's not that much wrong with them. I can recommend them. If you were planning on watching them someday, you'll probably enjoy them.